Hello, am I audible? Adarsh?
Yes, Sonali, you're audible.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, a very good evening to everyone. So as you can see that today we will take solve with instructor session. So we are in week 10. So today we will basically take solve with instructor session because on the Saturday, on the Saturday we will take the revision session of quiz 2. Okay, so that's why today we are taking this session instead of Saturday. So I can see only 8 participants are there. I think we can start if the papers will join later. So yeah, so in the today's session, basically, I just wanted to discuss upon one of the very uh, basic concept of testing. Like you all know that in the week 10 we generally talk about testing and application and all. So before going into the testing part, I just wanted to tell you that in in this session we basically talk about PyTest. So the question arises that what is a PyTest? What is PyTest? So basically, I'm not going into very detail of what is PyTest and why do we use that and all this thing. Just remember one thing, like PyTest is nothing but a testing framework based on Python. So we have many frameworks. We have many testing frameworks like in Python. Like we have unit test. We have something like robot. But in today's session, we basically demonstrate the PyTest. So it is a testing framework, not in the Python standard library. So if you talk about the unit test, so basically that is something that is present in the Python standard library. But if we talk about PyTest, yeah, so it is yeah. So basically, today's session agenda, if I say uh, what do I am going to demonstrate in today's session. Like our agenda of the session is, first we know how to create our first test with a PyTest. So how do we create our test, and how do we create our test files using the PyTest testing framework. The second thing is how to write multiple tests using PyTest. After that, we'll see that how to create PyTest fixtures, and after that, we will see some of the applications of this PyTest, like why we are using PyTest in our Flask app. So why we use this basically this testing framework, and how do we use this testing frameworks. So we'll see a minimal application of PyTest on a Flask application. So yeah, so this is something about the agenda of this session. So without wasting much time, I think we can start the session. Okay, so I think there is only some participant. Okay, they'll join later. I think we can start, or we can wait. Um, okay, I think we can start. Okay, so let me share my screen and then start demonstrating what. Let me share my screen. Okay, so my screen is visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So on the screen you can see the VS Code interface. So we have one folder. Like I have one folder here. I have opened one folder here. So let's uh, the first step, in the session, in going to demonstrate the PyTest. So first step will be the installing the PyTest using like we are using here VS Code. You can use command line for that if you are using any other interface. So yeah, so first you need to install PyTest on your machine. on your folder, in your folder. So yeah, so there is a command, like I have installed PyTest in my machine, but let me write it once again. If you want to see what is the what will be the command to install PyTest. So this is something like command to install PyTest on the folder, like pip install, and after that this. So if I click this, okay, so they are saying that requirement already satisfied. So yeah, I have already installed this. So let's create the second step is let's create first test. Okay, so how let's say we make a file, make a file. A file name will be laptop or tab.py. Okay, so yeah, so file is created. File is created. Okay, so now in this file, this file is basically a Python file. Okay, app.py. So now the second step, the second sub step will be in this file, write function and a test. Okay, so how to write a test and how to write a test, or to write a test, there is a defined format in PyTest. Okay, so now in order to write test, we need to understand one keyword, which is assert. So what is basically assert statements? So basically the assert statement is nothing but a keyword, or keyword, we can say a keyword in Python. So so basically it is used for debugging code. Okay, so that this assert statement used to verify test cases. Okay, so how we are using the assert here, let me give you one example. Okay, so one more thing, like if this statement, if this assert keyword is satisfied, okay, if it is satisfied, okay, your test will run. And if it is not satisfied, it basically raises a assertion error. Okay, so this assert keyword will raise a assertion error if your test fails. So let me give you an example, like let's say we will take some variable here, like I'm taking Sonal. And after that, let's say we are using this assert keyword. Okay, so we are checking, like this name is equal to this or no. Okay, so here the name should be in the small letter, right? We have variable name is equal to Sonal, and here we are checking like this name, this Sonal is equal to this or not. So I think it will give us an error. Let's run this. So how do we run this? Simple, Python app.py. Okay, so okay, let me save it and then run it again. So you can see the here, like we have assertion error. Okay, so this is very basic thing. I just wanted to tell you that we are going to use this assert keyword basically to uh, frame our test. So that's why this is a use of this. Now let's come to the point. So now we have something like a Python file, which is app.py file. So we already know that what is assert statement, how does it works. So after that, let's create a test now. So does how do we create a test? So PyTest requires to create test function using names to start with a particular defined format. Okay, so what is that particular format? Let's say we are having something like this. We can have something like test underscore. Okay, so let's say I'll show you. So we have something like test underscore test1. Let's say we have first test. So I'm talking about the format, like, so PyTest, in PyTest we have a basically we have a defined format. Like we can write our test. We can write our test by having a prefix or a postfix like test underscore or underscore test. Okay, so we can also create our test function by underscore test, like something and then underscore test. And we can also create it like test underscore and then something name of this function. So we are creating our test function like this only, test underscore test one. Okay, so if let's say if some function is not in the format of this, what will happen? Your PyTest will not consider that function to be the test function. Okay, so here we have created one test function. Now some what we will write, let's say we'll write x equal to y is equal to 10, and we will use this assert that we have saw earlier, x is equal to y. Okay, this is very simple test. Okay, so let me add one more test here, test 2. Okay, and after that, let's say we have number 10 and assert 10 into 10, that is equal to, okay, sorry, 10 plus 10, that is equal to 20. Let's create one more test. So test 3. Okay, you can take this name as anything you want. Like we can take test 3 we can take any name in place of test 3, but this should be test underscore. Okay, this is the basic mandatory format of PyTest. Okay, so after that, what num1 is equal to 10, assert 10 into 10, that is equal to, let's say 90. That is wrong, but let's take that. So okay, so we have created 3 tests here. Okay, so this is our first test, very minimal tests. This is our second test, and this is our third test. So what is the basic thing to note here, that the format of the test that we are creating. So it should be test underscore, and then after that we can give it any name that you want. So okay, so let's save it and run this. So simply run it using PyTest. There is a command called PyTest and then the name of the file. So what is the name of our file? app.py. So PyTest and the name of the file. Okay, so if I let me maximize it. Okay, so if you see here, we have given a command pytest app.py. So this is our file, right? So see, it has collected 3 items. So we have created 3 tests and it has created 3 items also. So what it is saying that they are executing this file. And what is this means? Okay, so what is this means? Like this is indicating that our first test case is failed. Second, at the place of green dot, it signifies that it is passed, and the third test case is failed. Okay, so if we go into the details, like why our first test case is failed. Like see, in the first test case, x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 10. Assert this is a wrong thing. Like 10 3 is not equal to 10. Okay, so this is basically a false test case. Okay, so this is about the first test case, and it is also saying that in the third test case, when we executed the third test case, we are telling that 10 into 10 is equal to 90, which is also false. That's why they are saying that 2 failed and 1 passed. Which one is passed? This one is passed. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so now this is all about how to create a test, simple minimal test. So we have created a 3 tests in a Python file, app.py file. Okay, so second segment, the second thing, the first thing is that how to create a PyTest, tests, test functions and text files. So now we will see that how to run multiple files. So we have only one file, app.py file here. Okay, so how to run multiple files? So until now we have created only one Python file, app.py, running it running it simply using that PyTest and that file name. Okay, like PyTest app.py. We are using this command to run this particular test file. Okay, so now what if we want to create any other file and we want to run, or we want to execute both of this file at the same time? How to do that? Okay, so that is the issue. So that's why there's something in PyTest. There's something defined format in PyTest. I'll show you. So let's create one more Python file. Okay, so one more like app1.py, let's say. Okay, so let's say create one test file here also, like test underscore, and then let's say method one.
Excuse
Okay.
me, ma'am.
Yes, hello.
I have a doubt on the first file.
Okay. First file, yeah.
This one, the first test was x equal to 3, y equal to 10, assert x equal to y. But in the terminal test one, it is showing assert 10 into 10 equal to 90. It is the last test 3.
Where?
This one in the failures test underscore test 1.
Okay,
Assert 10.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so see, it is showing us like why it is not showing x is equal to y. I don't know, but it should execute both of this. Like it should execute this also and this also. That's why they are that's why they, here we can see that they are collecting 3 items and they are saying that they both of this test functions and false. So I think there should be a one more line here. I don't know what's the issue, but yeah, I think there is one more line that stating that assert x is equal to y. So apart from this line also, like we can say we can have one more line here, but I don't know why they are just uh, taking one of them. It should be there. I think there is some issue. We can figure it out in the next test. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So we are on creating one more test. So we have created one more test file, and within which we are creating test functions. So our first test function is test underscore method one. So in this method one, let's say we have some name like my name. Okay, so after that we will check that this name, if we change it to uppercase, it should be this. Okay, and let's say one more method 2, let's say method 2, and assert false. We're simply taking false. False. Okay, so save it. Okay, so now the problem arises. Okay, so now the problem is like we have two files, like we have app.py and we have app1.py. So basically what we are doing earlier, that we are just using a command called pytest, and after that we are using the name of the file app.py. So now we have two files, and if we run that pytest, let's say we have pytest, and if we run app.py. Okay, okay, can you see that the person who was asking?
Yeah, now it's showing
Now
the.
it's showing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think that is something problem with that. Yes, what number? Okay, so now it's showing. Okay, so see what I was trying to say, that if we want to run this app1.py, we just have to write this. Okay, sorry, in the terminal stuff I have to write. So pytest and then app1.py. If we want to run a particular specific file, so we have to write the name of the file. We don't have any options to run both of this file at the same time. Okay, see, if this file, if we run this file, what they are saying, they are collecting two items. Okay, two items is collected. Okay, that's fine. First test cases is passing. Okay, that is fine. The second is false. Why this is false? Because we are just giving them the this thing like false. We are saying that return this test function as false. Okay, so this is false. So there is one way to run both of these files at the same time. So what is that way? So now what that is the Python format, sorry, pytest format of defining that test file. So there is a particular format of defining a test file. What is the format? Like, see, if we rename, this is the format. Okay, so test underscore and underscore test. Okay, so this is some format of pytest defined, or we can say this is a mandatory format. So test underscore app.py. Okay, so let's say we app.py, and let's say rename this also. Okay, so before renaming it, let's say we are executing this file. We have to execute this file. Let's say what happens now. So pytest. Can you see this is only taking this pytest. If we only run this command pytest, it is only taking this file. Okay, it is not taking app1.py file. So to execute the two files at the same time, let me rename it also, that app1 test underscore app1.py. Okay, so yeah, now test underscore app.py, test underscore app1.py. So if we run this command pytest, okay, can you see pytest? So let's say what is happening. Okay, so see, you can see that both of this test file is now executing. They are saying that they have collected 5 items. One file is this, in which three test cases are there, and where two test cases is false and one is true. And in the test underscore app1.py, it is one test case is passing and the second is failing. Okay, so after that, okay, so yeah, one more thing we can do. Let's say, see, we can here we two things we can do now. We can also use two approaches in which we can run multiple files. So this is one way, like you can save your files as test underscore the format of pytest, in which pytest detects your file, that which file is test file and which file is not a test file. So we need not to write the file name like we are writing earlier, like app.py. Again and again, we just run the command PyTest, and it will detect, the PyTest will detect all the test files automatically. Okay. So after that, there are two more approaches. What are the two approaches? So first approach is grouping test name by substring matching. What is this? Okay. First thing is this. And second is grouping by markers. So what is substring matching and what is marker? Let's see. Okay, so first approach is substring matching. So how this whole thing works? So see, in this file, like in this file, you can see we have something like test_test1. Okay, one more thing, like it is not mandatory to write underscore here. We can also we can have test also. Okay, test, and after that we can name it anything test, and any ABC and everything. So this thing I forget. So we can also write ABC. See, and if we write if we run this, okay, see, it is also taking. It's not mandatory to write underscore also, but yeah, in the case of files, it is mandatory to write test underscore. Okay, but in the case of function names, it is not mandatory. We can write test, and after that test is mandatory. Test keyword, test prefix is mandatory, and after that you can write anything ABC 1 2 3, need test 1, anything. Okay, so this is one thing. So see, what I was talking about, I was talking about the substring matching. Okay, so what is substring matching? So see, in this particular test file, test app.py file, we have 3 tests. Okay, we have for this test 1, 2, and 3 tests. Okay, so we can we have something like, let's say, test and test. Let's say this both is same. Test and okay. So see, what I was trying to say, that from the name itself you can thought of like substring. So what is the substring here? Test is fixed, right? Test is fixed, it is mandatory. So after that we have test1 as a substring, we have test2 as a substring, and we have underscore test1 as a substring. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just run one command, PyTest. Okay, PyTest. After that there is a -k, and then the name of the substring. So which substring in the particular Python file, which Python test, which test function you want to run. So which function that how can I say? Okay, so which function that consists that substring will which you want to run. Okay, so here I want to run this all the substring, all the test function that consists of test1. Okay, so here is test1. So let's say I have name of the substring and that -v. Okay, so -k, what is -k here? It will represent the keyword that denotes the substring to be matched. Okay, and this is the keyword that we wanted in our function. Okay, and this is verbose. Okay, so see what happened. Where is the starting point? Okay. I think this is let me open. I think yeah, this is the one. Okay, so see, you can see that collected 5 items. It has collected 5 items. Why it is collected 5 items? Because we are using PyTest as a command. Okay, we are selecting both of this test files. So we have 5 function of test function in collectively 1 2 3 in this 3 test function and 2 in this test function. Okay, so that's why they are telling collected 5 items. Why they have deselected 3, and why have they have selected 2. Why? Because we are using substring matching here. That's why they have deselecting 3. Okay, why they are deselecting C? First, the first function that deselected is they have deselected is this function. Okay, this function has not is not consisting that substring test1. And if we go to this function, sorry, this file, that is test underscore method 1 and test underscore method 2. So this, both of this function also not consist of this substring test1. Okay, so they are only selecting two files, two functions, that is this and this. Okay, so see, after that, which of which test cases is failing and passing? They are all these test cases. Okay, they are showing us all the test cases that is failing and passing. Okay, that is the thing that I want to I just wanted to show you. This is the first approach, right? This is something like grouping test name by substring matching. So this is the command, like pi test, and after that minus k, and after that you can you can write the name of the substring that you want to match. Let's say one more experiment we can do, like test1. Let's say we have test2 as a substring. Okay, and then if we run this, so see what they are telling. So 3 deselected and 2 selected. So why test1? This is about test1. This is something about test2. Okay, pi test minus k, test2 minus b. After running this command, they have collected 5 items. Okay, they are collecting 3 from first file and 2 from the second file, but they are selecting only 1. Okay, why they are selecting only 1? Because that substring, that test2 substring is only present in this this function, this test function. Okay, and they are deselecting 4 functions, test functions. So this is one approach. So what is the second approach? The second approach was grouping by markers. Okay, so what is a marker? So see, let me give you an example. Like PyTest allow us to use marker on the test function. So what is a marker? The question arises is, what is a marker? So let's say we have one more file, like we just created one file, app 112.py. Okay, test underscore app 2.py. Okay, so this is our test file. Okay, so let's say we have one function, test function. We have created one test function, like test underscore 1, say 1. Okay, and simple thing we can write anything like let's say x is equal to this. Okay, so x is equal to this, and assert h in x. So basically this assert will check that this string h is present in the x or not. So let's say we have one more test 2. Okay, and let's say we have x equal to hello, and assert has attribute x Okay, let's remove that. Just write A in to 5, use 0, Y. Okay, so this 2RR. What is this 2RR functions? Y this should be small. Okay, let's save it. So I was going to tell you about the markers, right? What is the markers? And the first thing we have discussed. Okay, so first approach we discussed, like what is a substring matching. So this is all about the markers. So first thing in a first thing is like let's say we have a decorator. We have a decorator here. We have something called a PyTest defined syntax, like mark, PyTest dot mark, and after that dot we have something like marker name. Okay, so marker name can be anything. So let's say our marker name is mark. Okay, mark dot marker 1. Okay, so let's say we have a marker method 1. Name is method 1. So why it is showing us an error? Because we are importing method marker. So we have to import the PyTest here. Okay, PyTest. Okay, so this is our first marker, and let's say we have a second marker marker PyTest dot mark. PyTest dot mark is the syntax provided by the PyTest. To basically this is something like we have seen it in the file name format, right? File name format provided by the PyTest. So let's say we have second marker as method 2. Okay, method 1 and method 2. Okay, so see, we have created. So first thing, PyTest allows us to use marker on the test function. So we are using markers on the test function. We have created 2 test function, and we are using marker on our test function. So why? What is the use of markers? So see, PyTest provide many inbuilt markers. So we are not using inbuilt marker here. Here we are just creating our marker. Okay, so we are creating our marker like method 1 and method 2. This is not something like we are importing, or we are using any inbuilt thing, but here we are just creating our own marker. Okay, so when we hit PyTest and then -m, and after that name of the marker, like method 2, name of the marker method 2, and then -v. Okay, so let me first save it. Okay, so see, where is that marker? Okay, here is that. Okay, so why see why what is happening here? They have collected all items. We have 7 items, right? We have three files now. So first 3 test cases, second 2, 5, and then here we are. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so see, we have 3 to 5, and we have 2 test cases here. So they we have all along we have 7 items. They have 6 deselected and 1 select. Okay, so why they have selected one? Because we have only one marker, with the name method 2. Okay, method 2. So that's why they have selected only one marker, that's name is method 2, and they have deselected all of them. Yeah, but if we go to see which which test function is failed or passed, let's say, see, in all of the file you can see, yeah, see in here, assertion error, assert a in hello. So this is failing, okay, this is failing, and this is passing, and after that it is showing us the assertion error. Okay, so in this particular file we are only selecting one marker. Why? Because in the another file there only we have created only one file, functions, we have created only one function, function with marker method 2. Okay, so this approach, like markers, it is not very usual to generally this method we generally not use. We use the substring matching, that is a easier method. So this is not a this is not a simpler one, so we'll basically we use that substring matching in the later sessions. So after that is this markers and this substring matching. Let us see what is a fixture. Okay, so there is one more concept in Py test, that is fixture. So let me remove that. Okay, let me remove that. So what are fixtures? So before going into the fixtures are simply functions. Okay, fixtures are simply function which is used to feed some data to the tests. So what are our tests here? Our tests are nothing but the test function that we have created so far. Okay, in the previous files also we have created some functions, test functions. So now this fixture basically used to feed data or some sort of input data to that test. Okay, so we can say that the fixture function we can attach this fixture function, that the function that we make as a fixture, we attach this fixture function to the test. Okay, we attach this fixture function that we will make a function, a fixture function. So we will attach that fixture function to a test, and it will run and return the data before executing that test. Okay, so let's say I'll give you some examples. Like, let's say we have something like input well, this is our first function. We are not creating test function here. You can, if you can observe, we are not creating test function here. Why? Because we are not using test prefix, right? We are simply creating some function, some ordinary function in the Python, like we do. So this is some function, like ordinary function. So yeah, let's say we have some input as 20. Let's say we have some input and 20, and we simply returning that input. Okay, so fine. So this is a very this is an ordinary function, not a test function. Now let's create one test function. Like you can see, test div, and after that, see here what we are basically doing, we are creating fixtures function. So how to create a fixture function? What is format, or what is the syntax kind of to create a fixture function? It's just that a function is marked as fixture by just by just decorating with a py test dot, okay, dot fixture. Okay, so why it is giving me this error? Let me import because we are using fixtures here. So that's why we need to import PyTest. Okay. So okay, import, we have imported PyTest. This is, so what does this means? Why we are using this kind of why we are decorating this function with a PyTest dot fixture? Because it is our fixture function. Okay, so this is our fixture function and this is our test function. So let's say this is our test function, and what I had told you earlier, that this fixture function will provide some data to the test function. Why? How do they provide? Uh, uh, we have to give that input value to this input value to this test function, right? So how do we do that? We just call this input val here, and within it we are just checking assert that this, whether this input val is divisible by 3 or not. Okay, so this is our first test function. Let's say we have something like diff2, the same thing, same input we are providing, the input value of the fixture function. Assert input val 2 divided by 2 or not. So this is our two functions. Okay, so here basically the fixture function named input val, which supplies input, which is supplying input to the test. Which test? It is supplying input to test div and test div2. Okay, so to access the fixture function, to access this fixture function, the test have to mention the fixture name as an input parameter. So we are giving the fixture name. What is the name of this fixture here? Input val. So we have to give the name of the fixture as a input parameter to the test function. After that only it will be able to use the input data. Okay, so PyTest, while this PyTest while getting executed, then it first execute. So it is important thing, like whenever this PyTest execute this particular file, test file, it will first go to the fixture function. Okay, it will first go to the fixture function and then return the value that can be stored to this input parameter. That is after that it will be supplied to the test functions. Okay, the first thing is, the first function will be the fixture function. Okay, so how to execute that fixture function? Okay, save it and run it. PyTest, and let's say we are using a substring matching here. Let's see. Div minus v. Okay, so see, they are collecting 7 items. All of the tests are they are test selecting. They have deselecting 5 items and 2 is selecting. Why 2 is selecting? Because div. Okay, if I have written div 2, it will be selecting div 2 only, one test only, but I have specified div as a substring, so it is taking both of this test function. Okay, so now see, the test div is failing. Why it is failing? Because we are giving input as 20 and 20 is not divisible by 3, so it is failing. And second one is passing because 20 is of course divisible by 2. So see, in the details also you can see that input value is 20. They are stating that input value is 20, and is in this particular function test div, in which we are supplying the input value as a parameter, it should be false. Because why? Because it is not divisible by 3. 20 is not divisible by 3. Okay, so yeah, it is showing us a assertion error. Why assertion error? I had told you earlier, because that due to that assert. Okay, so so this is all about that fixtures. Okay, so now this is something about all about the PyTest basics things. This is let's say one more example. I can tell you that. Let's say we have used substring as div 2. So see, okay, 2 selected. Where is that div 2? Okay, see, div 2. So they are collecting 7 items, but they are selecting only 1 item, and they have deselected 6 items. Why they are doing so? Because we are using a special kind of command, like we are using a substring matching command, substring matching provided by the PyTest. So we are just selecting those test function that consist of that specific substring. Okay, so so this is all about this is all about the basics of PyTest. What is, how to create we have seen like how to create test function, how to create a test file, how to run multiple files at a time, how to create so how to run a particular function that consists of a specific substring, and how to create fixture, how to use fixture. All these things we have done so far. Okay, so so one more thing I just wanted to demonstrate. Like, see, we have multiple files here. Let me close this. Okay, okay, where the interface goes? Okay, so let me open first terminal. Okay, so see, we have 3 files, right? We have 3 test files. Okay, so you saw that if we are using that PyTest command, they are collecting all the test function, right? So question is, what if you want to run only and only one test file? Is there any way to run only one test file, or is that only one option, like we use that command PyTest, and it will collect all of the test cases, all of the test function within all of the test files? Is it any way to run only one particular file? Yeah, there is a way. Like, see, if you use that PyTest, what they are doing, they are collecting 7 items, right? All test cases from all the test files, from test app.py, test underscore app1.py, test underscore app2.py, all the items. Let's say if I want to execute only one file, what will be the command for that? Like PyTest and name on the file, name of the specific name of the file. Like, let's say I want to run test app.py, app.py. Okay, so run it. So see, they are collecting 3 items. So in the test app.py itself, we have 3 items. So in this way, we can particularly execute only one file and not all the file every time. Okay, so this is the first thing. Only we can use these things. Okay, you can also see another file in case if you have any confusion. So app1.py. Okay, dot should be there. app1.py. Okay, app1. Okay, so see, They're collecting 2 items. App1. In app1.py, it is only 2 items there. Okay. So this is the first thing. There is one more thing to demonstrate. Like, see, we can group multiple tests in one classes also. Okay, so here what we are doing, we have a different separate test functions. We have different test functions, and whenever we run that particular test file, all of the test function is executing. Okay, all of the test function is executing. They are showing that this one is failing, this one is passing. What if is there any way to group test function or not? Yeah, this there is a way. Like, see, in this file, let's say, how do we do that? We will create a class. Okay, we will create a class. Okay, so in PyTest, if you are creating a class and you are expecting PyTest to detect your class, your test class, so there is also a special syntax for that. Okay, the first thing is any Python class, as you know that any Python class is is always begin with a capital letter. So yeah, it here also we are defining class as a capital letter, but yeah, the prefix should be test. Okay, prefix should be test, and after that you can write anything, any class name, any test, like let's say class 1, test class 1. Let's say this is our test. Okay, so let me, okay, so this is our first class. Let's say I want to group this particular test function in another class. So we can also do that. Our test syntax test, and let's say class 2, and after that, okay, we can also take any function from, we can also take, oh, where is that file? Yes, okay, pasted it. Okay, so see, here we have two test cases. Sorry, here we have one test file. Within the test file, we have 2 classes, and within the classes, we are grouping test functions. Okay, so why we are doing that? Because whenever we wanted to run that test underscore app.py, every time we run it, all of the test function has to be executed. Okay, so but we don't want that we want just a particular test to be run, a test class to be run. So this is one way to do that. We can group certain test functions. We can group a certain test function in class and then execute that particular class. Okay, so at the very first, what we have studied, that why we are naming our test, we are naming our test files to test underscore. So if we are using that pytest command, it will executing all of the test files. Now after that, we had learned that how to execute any particular file and not all of them. Okay, so after that, we are just learning, we are learning now that how to execute particular test classes. Okay, classes within the test file. So how to do that? So see, the way to do that is that pytest, after that minus k and name of the class. What was the name of the class? Test class 1. Okay, test class 1 and then minus q. PyTest minus k, test class 1 is our this class, test class 1, and then minus k. Okay, so what is that? Minus k class 1. Let's say, let's try one more thing, minus q. and then the name of the class dot py. Okay. Okay, I was not saving it. We done the same thing. So where is they're saying that to failed 6D selected. Let's come up. Where is that? Okay. So there is some error. They are saying that two failed. Okay. So they are saying two failed. Why they are saying two failed? So this is failing. Like this is failing, and this is something that has to be passed. But why they are saying that this is failing? No idea. Okay, this should be passed. I don't know what is the issue here, but this should be passed. Let's say to run once again. Test name is test class 1, then minus q and PyTest. Okay. The same thing happened. Okay. I think we can try something else. PyTest minus q and then the name of the file is app.py, test underscore app.py. Okay, the same thing is happening. Okay, so we'll see it at later. At why it is happening, I don't know. I have no idea. Like I think there is some issue with this terminal. So yeah, I'll show you this thing at the later part of the session. I think that from that time only this thing will be resolved. I think I can expect. Okay, so see after this, let's say this is all about thing like we have studied what is fixtures, and we have studied how to bundle multiple classes in a test in a class, and how to run different file at the same time, and how to run only one file at the time. So this is all about the very basic thing, very detailing about the uh, PyTest. Okay, so now the question arises this. So yeah, okay, so you can ask that. Okay, we have learned how to do testing using PyTest. So how to create, yeah, we have learned how to create tests and how to create files. So the question arises is what is the application of this? So why we are learning it? So now basically this was the whole brief overview of what is PyTest until now, how to use PyTest and how to use assert statements and all that. So now let's have a implementation of that PyTest in our Flask app. So how to create how to test our Flask app? Let's say we have very minimal Flask app using this PyTest. Okay, so let's say I am creating one Flask app. So Flask app.py. Okay, so here very minimal Flask app. I'm going to create very Flask app. So I'm expecting that you know that how to create a Flask app. So from Flask, import Flask. After that, you will create the object of that Flask class. Okay, Flask, and okay. So after that, what we'll do, we'll create a view function, and before that, we'll define our route. So okay, so let's create our first view function. Our first view function will be hello and hello world. Okay, hello world. Sorry. Okay, so we are simply returning something like hello and world. Okay, so see, let me write this. If okay, yeah, fine. So this is a very simple Flask application. Okay, very simple Flask application. So let me save this file. Now let us create one more test file. So how was we creating the test file? Like the format app app3, let's see, .py, test underscore app3.py. So this is our test file and this is our Python file. Let me close this. Not to confuse you. Okay, so yeah, there's only two files. One is our Python file, app.py file, in which we have written some code and we have created one application. Sorry. Oh, created one application, Flask application. Now, so we have written a Flask application with a function, only one function we have created. So now we have created one test file. Name of the test file is test, should be test underscore, and after that we can give any name like f1, f2, anything, main.py, anything. So now what we'll do, we'll import, let me import something. I'm importing requests. Okay, so I'm importing a request module here. So the question is, what does a request module do, or what is a request module is? So see, in Python, this Python request modules basically allows us to make a certain request to a page. Okay, a certain request to the server, or we can say it allows us to make certain HTTP requests to a page using Python. So here we are using this module, Python request module, to make a request. Okay, so after that, what we are doing, let me okay, say, okay, my screen is freeze. Let me give me some time. Okay, I think it's not working. There is some issue. Request. Is it working? Oh, is it freezed? Let me, give me 1 minute. Okay, I think it will be okay in 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, yeah, I think it's working now. Yes, sorry for the disturbance. Like, we have imported request here. So what the request was doing, the request module is basically for requesting to a page. So see, now after that importing request module, let's store this, let's store let's store the data or response in some variable called the response. This is the variable in which we are storing our response from that request module, that whatever we get. So this is the response object what we are creating here, requests. dot get. Okay, so before going further, let me open a new terminal. Let me run the file Python Flask application. Okay, so this Flask application is now running. Let me copy this URI, then let me paste it here. Okay, so see what I am doing after importing the request module. After importing that request module, we are creating a response object. This is our response object. And what this response object do? This response object basically contains response data. Okay, so this response data can be in form of anything. This response data can be in form of text, in form of status code, in form of encoding, anything. So this is basically, we are creating that response object here, and we are requesting to this. So in earlier I have told you that this request module of Python is used to send request. Okay, send request to a page or send request to a server. So we are basically requesting sending request to this page. So yeah, this is all about the response object. After that, let's create some test here. So how to create a test? You already know, right? So test like T1, let's say, okay, T1. And after that, what we do, we will check that whatever text that this response object will contain, response object will contain is equal to this or not. We are just checking here, like we in the previously we read that what is the use of the assert. So assert is basically used for testing debugging. Okay, so here basically what we are checking that whatever text, okay, so whatever text that is within that response object, whatever that response object that is returning, is it equal to hello world or not? Okay, so yeah, let me save it. And okay, so our Flask app is running, and let me open one more terminal. And in this terminal, what we'll do, we'll PyTest, and we run this specific this file app3.py file. So this is the basically this is the syntax, like PyTest test underscore app3.py. Okay, so let's say what happened. Okay, so can you see it's saying that it has collected one item. It has collected one item from this file name is there, test underscore app3.py, and this dot means, this dot you can see a green dot, that means that okay, this they have collected one item, and that particular test function is passing. So why it is passing? Because as you can see at this particular URI, when we are sending request to this particular URI, so the response that we are getting and the text of that response, particular text within that response object we are getting is hello world, which is equal to this. Let's say we remove this thing, save it, and if we run this, okay, can you see it is collecting one item, but it is failing. Why it is failing? Okay, so it is giving us assertion error. And why it is failing? Because it is not equal to this. This is not equal to this. Okay, so here they are stating that why it is failing, and where is the issue? they are giving us a assertion error. So okay, let me, okay, so this is the first thing. Let's say we will make one more test 2, and within this test 2 we'll write one more this assert function, and in this particular assert statement, what we'll write, we will check the status code. Okay, the status code of what? Which status code we are checking? This status code of the response. Whenever we are hitting this URL, we are sending request to this URL, the response that we are getting, the status code of that only. So we are checking the status code of that. So let's say we are checking 404. Okay, so you know already about what are status code and what is 404 and what is 200 and all that thing. So okay, so I've saved it, and let me run this file, test file. Okay, so if we go up, can you see test underscore app3.py? So it is saying that it is collecting 2 items. Which 2 items they are collecting? This function and this function. Okay, so in this they are saying that first test function is passing and second is failing. So this is passing, of course this is passing, but why it is failing? Because the status code of this page should be 200, right? See, you can see in the details also. Can you see in the details? They are saying that the response object should be 200 and not 404. Okay, so we are if we print the response of this response of this status code of this particular response object here, it should be 200, but we are equating 200 to 404. That is not correct, and that's why they are giving us a assertion error. Okay, so let's say we are changing it to 200. Now what will happen? Both of the file will see, both of the test function will pass successfully. So this is all about the status code of this file. Okay, so this was failing, but now this is passing. Let me change it to 404 once again. Now let's say, create one more route. Let's say we have created one route only till now. So let's say let me create one more route under the Flask application, and our route is our function is, this is our route, and our route is route 1, let's say. Okay, and after that we are specifying some methods here. Okay, so which method is we are specifying? This is the post method. Let's say we have a function called function 1, and within the function 1 we are returning something like this is my second function. Okay, this is something like we are returning, this is my second function, and this is our second function, this is our second view function, and this we are stating something some different URI as we stated earlier. This is a different URI, you can see that, and the method we are using is a post. We are stating post here. Okay, if you go to the test file, okay, this is a test file, and let's write one more test. Okay, let's write one more test. Let's say we are creating one more test, And what we are doing is assert response dot status code is equal to 405. Okay. Okay, so this is all about the second. Now this is save it, and we have to save it also application. So let me go to this and okay, so I think yeah, okay, let me run this file once again, this test file, test underscore app3.py. Okay, okay, let me see what is happening. Okay, so they are saying they have collected 3 items. Okay, first one is true, second one is of course false, and third one is also false. Why third one is false? So see, in the route decorated itself, we are stating, we are giving this route itself, and in the request we are sending request to this. Let me change it first. So this is the URI that we want to send request. Let me save it first, and then I can show you what was happening. So see, okay, now can you see? Okay, route.py. 40 status code. Okay, so see, we are equating it to 405, and it is returning me a false. Why it is returning me? So first thing you know that why it is returning false, right? It is on this sorry, in this URI itself, it is not returning true because the first route is not that is defined in the second. So the both route is different. So in this route in this object response sorry, this response object itself, we are sending request to this route and not the previous one. In the case of previous one, when we are sending request to the previous route, that is the base URI, that in that case we are returning this particular test function, first test function to be true. Okay, and in this particular case the second was false, right? Second was false, and why the third is returning is false? Here it is true. Okay, third one is false. Why it is false? Let's say, okay, okay, so test T3, can you see test T3? So see, they are expecting a 404. They are expecting a 404, and we are giving 405. Okay, so that is why it is failing. Route 1, right? Route 1 and method post. Okay. Let me. Okay. Let me run this flash gap once again. Now, if we run this, there's some issue like. Okay. Can you see now? I thought that there was some issue. Like, see, now they are returning both of their they are returning false, and the third is true. Why the third is true? Because if you go first and second was false, you know that this route, on this route, the response text is not anything like hello world. Okay, so hello world is something that whenever we give a request to this particular URI, it will return hello world. But and the second thing, status code is also not 404, it should be 200. Okay, and The third thing, why it is true, because if you can see that here we had defined our method as post. Okay, we have defined our method as post in the route itself, but in the response object, this is the response object, right? This is the response object. So in the response object itself, we are requesting to this web page, okay, and using get. So if we are strictly specifying here that we are using get, and here we are using post, so that's why it is giving us an error that 405 that method not allowed. Okay, so in the route itself we are saying them that okay, we are using post, we want to use post. Okay, there is and here it is mentioned at get. So let's say we have we change it to get. Let's see what happened. um, okay, it is returning true. Yes, okay. 40405. Yeah, okay, so now you can see 405. So get, no, just change it to post on. So let me run this Flask app once again. Okay, so we run it further. Let's say we have changed this 400 to something like 404. Okay, and if we run this particular test function, what they are saying, they're saying that all of the three is false. Okay, all of the three is false. Why the third one is also stating as false? Because they are expecting 405. That is method not allowed, because we are this request dot get. Okay, because we are using this keyword request dot, we are using get here, and that's why it's throwing a method not allowed error and returning 405. Let's create one more function in our Flask app. I'll show you one more example, like about this only. So see, let's create one more function in our Flask app. Let's say our app dot route will be anything like okay, so before going into the uh, function, let's create one folder, templates folder. You know the template, what is the template folder and why do we create the templates folder, right? So template folder, templates we have created, and let's say a new file, index.html. Okay, so we have created index.html. Where is our Flask application go? Okay, so now so see here what we do, we create our second route, which is route 2, and within this route we specify methods is equal to get. Okay, the methods is get, and our function is function 3 to function 2. Okay, and after that what we are doing, okay, returning render templates and the index.html. Okay, so let me import this render template here. Okay, so can you see here I have written templates. Okay, there should be a render, it should be rendered template, but I am writing something like templates. Okay. So why I am writing this, I'll show you once. Now go back to the test file and let us create one more test function. Test 4 T4 T4. Okay. Now what we will check here, assert response dot status code and 500. Okay, this isn't, let me close this first. Okay, so in our app.py we can see that we have created one more function 2, and in this we have different URI, so we can change it to route 2. Okay, so basically we are requesting now we are requesting to this URI, and the method is get. Okay, so why we are returning that render, what we are doing here, we are rendering templates. Okay, which template we want to render? index.html. So yeah, index.html. So here I am, let me save this first and save this file also, and let me rerun the Flask application. And if I go to this terminal and if I run this test app 3.py, let's see what happened. Okay, there's in one passed. Okay, so see, at the end of the end test, this ending test is passing. Why it is passing? So why it is passing? So see, it is showing that 500 as a status code. Why it is showing as 500 as a status code? Because the HTML page that we requested, okay, is not completed. The request is not completed. Okay, so we are requesting some page from this route. Okay, that is fine. But the HTML page that we requested on that particular URI is due to some condition, unexpected condition, the server is unable to process that, or server is unable to complete that. What is that unexpected condition? This is something like unexpected condition. So Flask app is running fine. That the thing that the server found unexpected, this is something, that's why they are returning 500 as a status code. 500 is something like internal server error. Why the internet server is failing to complete the process, that's why it's showing like server error. Okay, so if let's say if we change this, okay, if we change this and let me save this and run my Python application, Flask application once again, and going to the file, test file, and if we run this also, we can see that now yeah, we can see now all of the test function is failing. Why? Because now it will not return 500, because we had removed that particular unexpected thing that the server is finding disturbing, or that is the reason the server is not was not able to complete the process. So we have removed that S. Okay, so after that, if we change this to 200, let's say, and if we run it, go to the PyTest app. Okay, so see, if we go if we run this once again, it is showing that Where is that? Okay, it's showing that 3 failed, 1 passed. Why? Because yeah, that is understood, understandable, right? Like the thing that was creating hindrance in the process of server, that we have removed, and now it is the server is able to complete the process, and the process is completed, and it is returning 200. Okay, so that is the thing here. Basically, that is the logic behind this. So now in our test 4, let's say, okay, so see, uh, now in basically what we do now, we'll create one more test 5. Let's say test 5. Okay, now what we'll do, same thing, copy paste it. Why we are copy pasting this? Both this function is same, right? I'm doing this because let's say just we are just changing the URI. Okay, we are just changing the URI, and let's take some random URI, right? ABC or 123, that is not defined. Okay, we are taking some URI that is already not defined in our Flask application. So our first route is this route 1, route 2, and this is the page. So that's why we are taking some random URI. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see. Let me save this, and if we run this file, so can you see this last test is failing? Why it is failing? This is failing. Okay, this is also failing, this is passing. Why this is passing? Because it, yeah, basically there is no any URI like ABC, this /ABC. There is no any URI like /ABC. So on this test also, in this test also, they are giving as 404 and 404 as a status code. That is true. That is true. It will always return this thing only in the all of the cases. If we see, if we change this and this to be 404, what? Okay, so see, all of the test cases is passing. Because why this is passing? Why it is passing? Because yeah, in this page, on this page, we will receive that 4 not found error. Okay, so that's why this all of these test cases are failing. So yeah, this is something about the testing minimal Flask applications. Like we have tested it. We have tested this Flask application. We have written 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 test cases, and we have saw this how can we basically use that PyTest, all of the details that we are discussing earlier, that how to create test and all these things. PyTest, basically what is the use of that, how do we apply those things to our Flask application. So basically this is the concept. So yeah, now any questions from this particular file, or any modification you want to do, or anything you want to see, you want to run and then see? Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, any queries, anything you want to see once again, or you want to ask, or you can ask. I think there is something on the chat. Let me stop sharing. such that I can see the chat. It's fine. No queries from my side. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. If you want, if you are unable to speak or unable to talk, you can also write it on the chat such that I can see and try to answer it. You can also write it on the chat. So I cannot see any queries on the chat. Also, you can write it. I'll wait for some time, and if there is no queries, then we can wind off. But yeah, we'll wait for some time because some of the people, I think, they are joining. One, okay. So I'll wait for some time. Till then, you can post anything on any queries on the chat itself. Let's wait for some time. If any queries come, we'll try to solve, and then if not, we can wind off. Okay, I think there is no query. We have waited for 2 minutes. So yeah, I think we can close the session now. Okay, so thank you all for coming into this session. And on the Saturday, basically we have our revision session. So I request you all to come in that session too. So yeah, we'll discuss some problems and queries which you might find regarding the quiz too, and anything regarding the week's content and anything. Okay, so yeah, thank you all. Thank you for joining, and okay.